Hey, what's up? It's Baz the Magician, and this is a very special video reply that I'm making to all of the tons of people who are asking me why they don't understand when they watch a video about counting cards in blackjack, why they don't understand how to do it. It doesn't make any sense to them. So what I want you guys to do is to take this video and apply it to as many places as you can from these people talking about how to count cards, or I'll explain to you why it works and everything else. And I want you to show them this video, because I want them to see this. Because I'm going to give you a visual and to show you why you don't understand this. Because it's not you, it's these people. So what I did for research in this video is I watched about 80 videos, I read blog posts, everything, and I broke down in detail what actually is going on. And I even had people in front of me in my shows that were trying to show this to me. And I said, what you're saying doesn't make any sense, because nothing's being explained despite these people saying it. So let me give you a visual. First of all, none of the phrases and wording that these people are saying are defined. So for example, you'll hear the phrase running count, total count, +1, -1, 0. None of this stuff has a definition to it. So they say it to you as if you understand what the hell they're supposed to be talking about. This would be like if I said, hey, my friend Fred and I, and then expected you to know who Fred is. I need to give you information to know this. Not that it's important, but you're not going to be able to follow along with what's going on if I don't tell you anything. So let me start by explaining. They start assigning arbitrary numbers without explaining why. Case in point. Apparently, they say, okay, each card is assigned a value. That's a -1, that's a 0, and that's a +1. Nobody knows what that means or why. And when you ask them, why are these values assigned this way, they hide behind, well, that's just what they're assigned, when that's not even what anybody's asking. What people are asking is, what purpose does this serve to have this at a -1? What is the reasoning for that? Not that somebody put it there, or it's because of how it works. You need to have a reason on why this is -1, why this is a 0, and why this is a +1. We're not asking because somebody named the system. We want to know what purpose and function each one of these does when you're doing this so they can follow along. The second thing here is using the phrase running count, which means no sense. What the hell does that mean? Where does it start? When do you start counting? Do you stop at a point? Are you even supposed to start before the cards are put down? Do you start the running count after this one, this one, this one? Now, using this as the example, okay, you first of all now don't have any clue to what the running count is. But secondly, let's say this was the hand. They will say, okay, after you know the +1 and everything else, now you deal these out. So now the count is -5. Whatever the number is. So I want to know, if this is a -1, and this is a +1, and this is 0, are you supposed to take these together and say this is 1? Do you add the 1 to the value of the face? Do you actually take and say this card is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and the +1 is 4? Is the 8 now a 9, or is the 8 an 8 because it's now a 0 and the +1 is here? Is this a 4? Do you add these together, which is 11 + 1 is 12? They're not telling you anything about what these numbers signify. Not to mention, they're not telling you when to apply the actual count itself. So if you're dealing 3 cards out, do you start there? Do you start before there? Is the +1 there? Is the +1 here? Is the -1 here? Is a 0? Do I start on this card, ignoring this? Now, that's a problem in itself. But let's say you dealt with the blackjack, and let's say, for example, sorry, there's no blackjack. Let's say they did this. This does not help you, even if you know. Let's say, for example, they say, okay, this is +2. I have no idea if that's right or not, but I'm saying even if you know this is +2, this does not help you do anything. It's not going to help you to bet this. You still have 0 clue what any of this is used for, why you're using it, or why it's even there, or how you even arrived at the number, because you have no starting point, you have no ending point. Now, let me throw a monkey wrench into this, because now you get into another complex issue where they say running count. Okay, so let's say this hand was ended. Where's the count? Does it restart because you're in a new hand? Are these still being used? If so, how? Are they +1, -1? There's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's the value here? Is it +1, +3, -8, -6? How do you know? You need to tell me how these are there. So on top of that, now that's gone. This is a new set. Is this a new running count? Or is this a continuation of the running count? Is it a total? Are you supposed to be getting parts of this? Are these cards, anything in here, supposed to be being used toward this? Are a +1 now being added to a +5? And the other thing I'd like to know is whatever number this is, why is this not +5? Why is this not -5? How do you know this isn't +8 or -24? There's no reasoning behind any of the numbers. Now, to further throw a monkey wrench into this, let me tell you another thing that pissed me off in a video I saw. Because this person was talking about counting off of a shuffle shoe or whatever the frick it was. So what wound up happening was, he literally said to get a total count, a true count, was to take the running count and divide it by the number of decks that were left. And I kid you not, these are the numbers he used. He said, well, I know the running count is -16. I have no clue how he got to that number. And then he says, I know the remaining decks have the running count of -6. So the true count, when these decks were shuffled back together, is now -24. That doesn't even mathematically add up. -16 plus -6 is -22. Where the hell did he get -24 from the explanation he was talking about? The point I'm making is, the reason that you cannot understand how to count cards is because there is no instructions, there's no rational reasoning for any of this, and none of what they're talking about makes any sense. There's no instruction application on how to go from what they're telling you in step A and applying it to step C. They're literally withholding B from you. So the reason you can't understand counting cards, it's not you. It's because either A, the system is a lie, which I'm just throwing out two possibilities. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's either the information they're giving you is a lie, because it doesn't work. There's no possible way you can use anything in any video to count cards. Or B, they're withholding information because they want to sell you the course, and they don't tell you that. But as it stands, you cannot use any information in any YouTube video and count cards with it. Spasm Magician signing out.